anybody ever remember interview records? You know what I mean? Basically, back in the day, record companies would make interview records. And what they would do is they would make records of them asking questions to some of their popular artists, whether that be I know of some with Michael Jackson. I think I know of a couple with Madonna that she did in the 80s, but it's even earlier than that, of course. They did them in the 70s. I want to say there was a Beatles one, although I could be mistaken. But basically, yeah, the record company would interview their popular artist on the label at the time, and then they would send these records out to radio stations. And radio station DJs would get a cue sheet, which is what this is, and you would read off the cue sheet and, hey, today, you know, it's Joe Blast at 97 KFM, The Rock. And today in the studio we have Michael Jackson live on air, and we're going to be talking with him, so stay tuned and don't change that dial. Something like that. And then you would obviously read off the cue sheet, and you know, you would ask him questions, and then he would respond to those questions on here, basically, right? So anyway, I thought it would be fun to do this one. It's basically having to do with the passing of Al Cohn, you know, a jazz musician, famous jazz musician, and basically they're interviewing Al Porcino, who was, you know, kind of a compatriot. He played with Al Cohn over the years and a lot of big bands and things like that. So anyway, I thought it would be fun to do, so let's do it. Mikey B at 89.5, The Rock. I'm here with Al Porcino, one of the finest lead trumpet players in the world and leader of his own 16-piece band. And this is the band that the late tenor saxophone great Al Cohn recorded with in Karlsruhe, West Germany, for his new album titled The Final Performance, out on Razzmatazz Records. Now, Mr. Porcino, we're happy to have you here to talk about Al Cohn.
My pleasure to be here.
Now, how did you two meet?
Well, actually, we're the same age. We were born the same year, that is to say.
That's great.
And we started our careers together back in '43, although not in the same band. But it was a
interesting.
Year later, in February '44, that we joined Georgie All's band, and we were playing at the Commodore Hotel.
Oh, right, the Commodore.
The beginning of our long relationship and friendship. And for me, Al Cohn has been giving me more joy in music, I think, than any other musician. I really love this guy's playing and his arrangement.
Hasn't he all? What kind of guy was he?
Well, a beautiful guy. I mean, very easy to get along with, very unpretentious, very humble.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Humor. And I mean, he was writing arrangements even when he was 16 years old.
So he wasn't much of a drinker then, huh? Who were his favorite players?
Yeah, well, I would imagine the standard ones, starting with Lester Young.
Oh, beautiful.
I think I'm correct in saying that just about every musician in the history of jazz has been influenced by Lester Young, whom I also
of course, yeah. Who hadn't?
Times. And I would say probably Lester Young was his favorite and biggest influence. Of course, then there were some other people, other giants of jazz, and then along came Charlie Parker.
Right, the Bird.
40s.
What about Zoot Sims? He was always linked with Zoot Sims.
Well, yeah, they first actually played together in Woody Herman's Four Brothers band in 1948, and then they both left the following year. And that was the beginning of a long, long partnership. They played in tandem right up until the end for Zoot, which was about 3 or 4 years ago. And
oh, yeah, yeah.
Great team. I mean, two of the greatest tenor men of all time.
Of course.
Together,
fantastic.
Want, you know?
Now, did he have any children?
Yes, he does, as a matter of fact.
Fantastic.
The child that I know and have met is his older boy, Joe Cohn, who incidentally is a fine jazz guitarist.
Yeah. Did he have any hobbies, like golf or fishing?
Well, yes, he did. One of his favorite hobbies was playing softball in Central Park with all the guys. He and Zoot were pretty good ball players. He loves
he looked like
baseball, and he's quite famous as an expert on working crossword puzzles. Yeah. That was one of his big hobbies, and he was very good at it, incidentally.
Yeah,
He did the Sunday Times in ink, so you got to be pretty good to do that.
When did he notice he wasn't feeling well?
That was last year when we brought him over to Germany in
Damn.
March of '87.
That's a shame.
This historic tape for Razzmatazz Records.
Yeah,
And it was
Razzmatazz.
obvious he was hurting.
Yeah.
I had no idea that it was as serious as it was until the end of the year, of course.
Yeah, right. Did he know how serious it was?
I think he probably did. That's interesting to talk about that aspect of it, in as much as I talked to another great tenor player recently, a fellow named Sal Nistico, and he said something interesting, and I'm inclined to agree with him. He said he thinks that Al knew, in as much as he was playing
Damn,
so
what a
great,
shame.
probably greater than he ever played, and I think this new recording will bear that out.
Now, you talking about the new album, The Final Performance? Of course, he was on
As
it.
I say, we brought Al over to
Yeah.
Germany.
You mean Karlsruhe?
Well, that was one stop on the tour.
Oh, yeah,
We actually
right.
booked him for 3 weeks in southern Germany and parts of Austria, which is
Oh, okay.
adjacent to southern Germany.
Right.
And he worked primarily with my rhythm section in quartet. But on 2 occasions during the 3 weeks, he played with my big band. The
Yeah.
first one being
It was big, real big.
Jazz Festival.
I mean, all the guys were real tall, right there.
Burghausen, which is on the German-Austrian border, only about an hour and a half drive from Munich, where I live. It's not a big festival, but it's
Yeah.
a very important festival in Europe. The Burghausen Jazz Festival. We had him there actually for a week.
Yeah.
I say we, my wife and I did all the booking. He did a couple of days of saxophone workshop. He played every night in their jazz club. And on the Wednesday,
He was a good man.
we performed with my big band. I was already booked on the festival myself, and we worked it out so that Al would be featured with the band on that night.
Fantastic.
Well, a week later, it came the Karlsruhe session that we're talking about now, and luckily, not only we were booked into this nice club, the Club Ubez,
Right.
but we were able to involve Stuttgart radio.
Oh,
This is
Stuttgart.
done quite often in Europe.
Porsches are made there, I
Radio
think.
stations in the major cities. They go into all some of the jazz clubs and do what we used to call here a remote
Oh, okay.
in their equipment and
Like for your TV.
Anyhow, when I heard the tape a few weeks later, I couldn't believe it was as good as it was.
Tell me about
A
it.
good band in Munich, but this was an exceptional evening, as you'll hear when you hear the tape.
Yeah. What were some of the titles?
We opened the first volume, side A, track 1, with a blues. The blues is always good.
Oh, yeah, of course.
This is a little.
Who doesn't like the blues?
Mr. Young wrote a number of years back. And we had
Sunnyland Slim.
arrangement, and we let Al stretch out on this, and he plays several choruses, and I think he gets the LP off to a good, happy start.
Oh, I bet he does. What was the first cut called?
It's called Jumpin' with Symphony Sid. And we do some things of other composers. For instance, a thing that the Artie Shaw Band used to do years ago called Back Bass Shuffle. And this one is arranged by Med Flory, who's the leader of a group called Super Sax you may have heard of.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What are some of the other titles on the album?
Well, let's see. I'll try to pick out some of my own personal
Oh, heck yeah.
favorites.
Tell me about it.
We have an original here that Al wrote. And again, he plays on this one after the trumpet solo by Peter Tusha.
Oh,
And this is
Peter,
the original
right.
called The Fuzz.
Oh, yeah. Sure. What are some of your other favorites on the
We
album?
have a ballad in there, I think, and this is really a beautiful arrangement, and Al plays just so beautifully on it. It's
I bet he
a
does.
tune written by Vernon Duke. I'm sure you remember Autumn in New York.
Yeah, I've been there. Tell us about the Al Cohn Memorial Collection.
A favorite of mine was composed by a favorite composer of mine, and that's the man we all know as Cole Porter.
Oh, Cole
This is
Porter.
an oldie. It was a pop tune way back when, and we got
Cole
it
Porter.
dressed up in a new arrangement. Mike Barone's arrangement of My Heart Belongs to Daddy.
Oh, I bet it does. Tell us about the Al Memorial Collection. I skipped
Well, that's
ahead.
something they just started out there where he was living, and Flo is still there, out in the Poconos. It's on the New Jersey-Pennsylvania border, East Stroudsburg, and they have
Oh, yeah.
Stroudsburg University there. They've started what they call the Al Cohn Memorial Collection, which I'm going to be contributing to, and I'm sure
Oh, yeah.
too. They're looking for music, tapes, videos, pictures, memorabilia, and I think it's a great thing.
I like memorabilia.
He is, in my opinion, for sure, one of the giants of jazz that we've had.
Oh yeah, he was real tall.
And, as I say, I'll be contributing quite a bit to that collection.
Now that's headed out there by Dr. Larry Fisher, ain't it? At the
They're
Stroudsburg.
looking for contributions, by the way, if anyone's interested in helping the fund. I'm sure if you wrote Larry Fisher, care of East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
I'm sure he would get it.
Now, Al, winding up our interview, how do you think Al Cohn, your good friend and the guy you worked with,
He would like us to
remember him?
As a great jazz saxophone player, because that was his real love.
Yeah, I bet it was. Thank you, Mr. Porcino. This has been Mikey B at 89.6 KFM, The Rock. We've been talking about the life of the late, great Al Cohn, the fantastic jazz saxophonist, so recently passed, so recently young. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and that's it for now.